Talkshow with Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin, and I'm here today on episode number 14 with two great young entrepreneurs, Horactio Brown and Aviane Chase.
How you guys doing?
Thanks for joining me today, fellas. Horatio, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, like who you are, what do you do for a living, maybe a fun fact about yourself.
My name is Horactio Brown. I just recently switched careers. I was at the steel mill for 5 years. Now with UGI Utilities. Fun fact about myself is I love guns, obviously.
This guy. What about you, Aviane?
My name's Aviane Chase. I actually work at Capital Region Water, utility company as well. And fun fact about myself is I love guns. I love guns as well. I love to shoot.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's the reason why we're all here today. Honestly, we're gonna be starting off by talking about like y'all new business company that you got going on. So, what is your business called?
Next Level Gun Club. We got together just to spread the word about awareness. Want to train, just spread the knowledge about the safety and importance of owning a firearm, maintaining it, and just being safe with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you know, like usually when you hear about guns, it's a negative thing. Somebody got shot, somebody, whatever the case may be. We're trying to switch that narrative to a positive way. You know, as far as the events we're doing, like he said, gaining people's knowledge on gun safety and gun awareness. Because you know, a lot of people have guns, but they don't know the important facts of having a gun. They just, go out buy a gun and just say, "Oh, I like it."
Right, they just do it just to be cool. Well, I got a gun because you got a gun, or you know how that goes.
Right.
But
I mean, or just to protect yourself, but you got to know the proper ways to protect yourself. Like you can yourself by not handling a gun.
Right, yeah, I kind of can relate to that because I just shot a gun for the first time last year during the pandemic, and I was just like, this shit's different. You can't walk into it thinking you're gonna be accurate as hell. Like if you don't put in that effort or know the recoil or expect anything.
Definitely take some time, practice.
Yeah, for sure. But so when was this company created or founded? When did it come into play?
We talked about it. I would say we talked about it, and we kept blowing it under the rug for like a year, and we just recently, what was that, May or no, June?
Oh, we kicked it off in June, but we
June.
we had our kickoff in June. I think June 12th.
Yeah, June 12th.
I think we actually had our kickoff. But yeah, it was. We were texting back and forth or calling each other like, "Hey, we got to get this started. We got to do this. We got to do that." What really pushed us was our ladies. Definitely got to give a shout out to them. My fiance, his wife, definitely pushed us to get this going and get it going fast. So. That's the reason we took off, definitely with their help.
It's definitely tough to start something up and actually do it. It's just always you always talk about doing something, but it's just always actually doing it. It always is the hard part, and that's what a lot of the conversations I had with other guests. They were all just like, "Why not? Just go do it." There's always those excuses like, "Oh, I had this," or "I had to go do this," or "I didn't have this." Stop making the excuses. If you about it, just go ahead and do it.
Right. And at the end of the day, I think another key thing is having a partner that's willing to go 100% with you.
Yeah.
You could be thinking about doing something and you just push it under the rug, but if you got the other person let's get it done, and you see that they're serious, it's gonna motivate you to be serious.
Yes.
Yeah. So why was this created? I know you guys talked about the safety and stuff like that, but what made y'all want to do this? Is there an underlying driving factor?
I mean, basically, because, our drive for guns, it's not really, there's gun ranges around here, but, me personally, I never heard of, an actual gun club in the city or even, around here. So, that's what drove us a lot, too, because it was, it's never heard of. And, basically, our main goal is just, to sharpen our skills, day by day. We just want to get better and better each day. And while we're doing that, we thought, why not teach the safety of it to others, Right.
Yeah, at first it was it was crazy because we're we're going to be a gun club. This is going to be easy. We're going to go out, shoot, we're going to have fun. and then it transitioned to like we're going to be a gun club. We're going to go out and shoot and sharpen our skills, but we're also going to pass our knowledge on to the youth, urban community, because around our way you hear about guns being used to create violence.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just creating violence with firearms, we're trying to take that slide a little to the protection side. Like you carry a gun for protection. You don't carry a gun to show off. And to the littler kids, like just be mindful if you ever do come across a firearm and you're not properly taught how to use it, just go remind your parents, like, listen, this is here, or even take a step further, like disarm the firearm if you are able to, but most importantly, try to stay away.
Just to respect the guns, not treat it as if it's like a Nerf gun or if it's something that they seen on TV that they think they can just go play with. Like to actually respect the firearm, like they know if they see it, oh, I'm not supposed to touch that, or let me get away, let me go get somebody to come put this away.
Right. Yeah, definitely makes sense. So whose idea was this? Like, why did it come up? Like, did it happen through conversation, or did someone just wake up and go, ding, I have this idea? How did it play out?
Honestly, it just like we went up to the range the one day. We had fun up there. We shot around, and we just was texting about it. Like it just was coming together piece by piece. We was like we should start something, and then it just clicked. Like I think what your dad had got the name.
Yeah,
right?
he was like, man, listen, y'all.
We were just thinking of names. Like we were just like, hey, we need a name first to even start.
Yeah.
So then we was just coming up with different stuff. Nah, that don't sound.
Yeah.
That don't. Then his dad, Next Level Gun Club. It just was like,
that's what we about to make it happen. Like we were just sitting down. We had him over for dinner, and he's just like, man, y'all playing around. Just create something called Next Level Gun Club. Like, I'm like, yo, that actually sound cool. Like, that actually sound like that's tough. You know what I mean? So I text Mook, I'm like, bro, we gonna become Next Level Gun Club. He said, oh yeah, that's tough. That's fire. We gotta get stuff like pushing with it. I mean, like push it forward and make it happen. So he texted me at 2:00 in the morning. I'm trying to wake up, bro. My eyes responded like 6. Like, yeah, let's do this. So it's definitely like he said in the beginning. It's definitely a plus to have a partner that's willing to go in, and be 100% dedicated, just as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. It definitely lightens up the load. Because it's never like, oh man, I got to do everything. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then not getting too far with it. Mook could be like, oh no, I'm doing this, or I'm like, yo, Mook, I'll do this, So we have our little meetings and stuff like that, and we come up with a plan, So it's just not one or the other taking care of everything. So yeah, like I said, it's a plus. It's definitely a big plus.
Okay, right. So where do you guys see yourselves in the next 5 years? But what is the ultimate goal though, as well?
The ultimate goal is to.
He said, "Fuck the 5 years." He's getting right to the ultimate goal.
The ultimate, nah.
That's our.
I mean, our 5-year plan is to have a range, outdoor range.
Okay.
And the ultimate goal is just to like get our name out there. Like we had people reach out to us from Philly, Jacksonville, like, and we're just not at that point yet where we can expand like that.
Right.
We still got to get it established and known here in Harrisburg.
Yeah.
So I feel like the ultimate goal is to get a lot of publicity. Get our name out there, what we do, that's pretty much it.
It's just build.
Build.
Our ultimate goal is to build and then be able to look at each other after we hit our 5-year goal and be like, yo, like we did it. A lot of people are now, they have more knowledge on firearms. They know the safety, they know how to maintain it. Like they know who Next Level Gun Club is, and they support us. They're willing to rock out with us,
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So right now, do you guys have a place that people can meet up, or how do you guys go about meeting up? Is there a place that you guys have an establishment at all?
As far as for meetups, if somebody was to fill out an application, we would take them to somewhere close, like not a bar, but somewhere to grab some food. We cover their food for that day. We ask them, we got a list of interview questions. But that's just as far as if somebody wanted to become a member. As far as if to shoot, we're currently about to be at Hunters and Anglers off of Nyes Road. That's
Okay.
that's where our membership is, and we also shoot at 717 too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to them and Sherrod. My man Luke too.
There you go. So what are some ways y'all can connect with the community or have been connecting with the community?
So our launch was on June 12th, and we actually kind of connected with a few people within the community. We had a nice lady, I forget her name, who came. We don't know. I know I'd never seen her. He probably never seen her. She just came up, and she was just like, "Hey, like, we really want you to guys to."
Well, she said she's seen it on the news.
Oh yeah, she's seen it on the news. She said we see it on the news, and we're just like, "Oh yeah, I really want to attend." And I'm like, "Wow!" Like, it definitely got out there, and she definitely came, and she was like, "Well, are you guys able to come speak to our kids? You know, a lot of them live in an urban community." And we're like, oh, "Shoot, that'll be pretty decent." Like, being able to speak and give kids knowledge, you know, because you never know. Like, kids are 9 times out of 10 going to be around a firearm once or twice in their life, you know. So to be able to give them the proper lessons and tools to understand what they got to do if they do see one, it's definitely that's definitely big. That's major, you know.
Just to expose them to it in a positive way, because at the end of the day, they're going to be exposed to it one way or another. So why not expose it to them in a positive way? I mean, it's so much like the mainstream media, like social media, music, like it's all portrayed in a bad way or a negative way.
Right.
Like, but you got, you know, their favorite rappers might be talking about, you know, going to shoot up a block or, you know, like, nah, for real, like just different stuff like that. But like,
Yeah.
and
It's
they look
definitely true.
like that's their favorite rapper. They inspired by them. So it's like we're trying to change that narrative again. Like I said, like just in a positive way, so they know. Just the respect is the big thing. The respect is done.
But to hit the needle on the nose, the way we're going to connect with the community, we actually we're.
Oh yeah, that was the question.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Just those mindset. What's some mindset, man?
Yes.
But anyway, to connect with the community, we, like you said, we had our June 12th event. We're about to have another event August 7th, and that address is I forget this on the flyer. It's Fine Line Auto on Walnut Street. We're going to do a $15 car wash there. We're going to have like 3 different raffles that you can enter. Food truck, ice cream truck, music.
Basically like a little fun in the sun, you know?
Yeah. And you get a chance to win a gun. $30 entry to enter the raffle. Enter the raffle for a pistol, a firearm.
Okay. Yeah, that's
obviously
cool.
Be over 21 and you got to have
your
a clean background license so you can get it in your name.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, we plan on. I have to reach out to the Boys and Girls Clubs this week. One uptown, Berry Hill, and one out the south. We're going to try to schedule something so we can go talk to them.
Okay.
Gun safety and gun awareness. If it's a go, we're going to go and talk to them kids.
Then
then we have the church. It's called Four Harvest Ministries, and we're going to be hosting like free gun safety. And we're not charging anything because obviously we're doing this so from the heart, and we want people to be aware. I feel like making it free will bring more people.
Right.
As as crazy as that sound, everybody's like, I'm not paying $20 or whatever it is for learn about guns.
Yeah.
They think they know, like they know enough, or they think they know. So we're just going to have it free. It's going to be like 45-minute class where anybody is open to come, and we're going to try to shoot for 2 years, I think.
Usually.
Well, we still got to wrap it all up, but that's the exact place where we have it at. And if anybody have any more questions, they can email us at nlgc717@gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure I plug all that stuff into the YouTube channel. But one more question here before we move on to the next segment. What are ways people can reach out or help out or support you guys right now?
Basically, definitely reach out on our Instagram. We're actually in the process of building the website. It's almost finished. A couple of little things to add to it. They can reach out to the Instagram, NLGC. What is it, 717? Yeah. So that's our Instagram, NLGC 717.
Or the email.
that they're just giving you. But they could definitely reach out that way.
And our numbers is on that card, the cards I gave you too, the business card.
Okay.
And then to support, just basically follow us. We post safety videos. Share the safety videos. Like, you know what I mean, comment if you have any questions, or comment, just say I'll support, you know, just that'll go a long way.
Or buy a t-shirt, you know, we do have t-shirts.
Yeah.
You know, the one like you're wearing right now.
You can see here. Yep.
Next Love Supporter.
More
and as far as like any like small businesses or establishments, we just got our first sponsor, Big Ray's Burgers and Dogs, on the West Shore. So we got sponsors because we're a nonprofit, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of looking for different sponsors to help out with different events. Once it start getting a little colder in the holiday seasons, we're going to be doing turkey drives, trunk or treat, toy drives for Christmas.
Definitely come out and support with that.
You know, we can get a lot of support that way too. You know, with different donations.
Right. Yeah, it's all about making the connections with the community and just like you said, getting your name out there. And the more you can do and help out in the community, the more people are going to know, like, yo, these guys are everywhere, helping out, doing this, doing that. And then they start to realize what y'all are doing and what y'all are about too. So it's a process, but it definitely takes time. But the more that you can get involved, the more people will get involved with you as well.
Right.
But you guys have any last thoughts on your business specifically before we move on here?
Listen, you did amazing.
Pretty much hit it on the nose.
I appreciate it. Well, that's awesome to hear, though, about this idea that turned to reality for both of y'all. It's crazy to see. I mean, Mook, I've been following you for a while here. You've always been a gun person. I'll be like, yo, this man got another gun. But it's not. But it's good to see that now that you're taking your hobby, something that you really enjoy, and using it to better not only yourself but other people in your life and other people that you don't even know yet. So it's awesome to see that from both of y'all, honestly. Right. But let's move on to our next segment here. We're going to talk about the importance of the Second Amendment and just owning a gun and stuff like that. So in brief, what would you describe the Second Amendment as? Because it can be very manipulated and misunderstood.
I would say, and not to take the Google definition, I would say it's basically something that you have the right to protect your family and yourself and others. And a lot of people, I feel like it's an amendment that's taken granted. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people take it for granted. You know, they get in trouble and you know they don't have that right no more. Like, you know, once you do something with the law or you
it's
get
so crazy how fast and easy it is.
It is to lose it. Right.
Yeah. So and probably not to get it back ever. Because how the system.
Right.
Which is crazy to think about, because like in say DUIs, for instance, if I get a DUI, I lose my privilege to drive, right? But I get it back eventually. Whereas opposed, like if you fuck up, you lose your privilege of owning a gun, and you can never get it back. So like there's no. Right. So hopefully in the near future, because obviously it's a constant chain of events that's or ever changing, for it to get better and stuff like that. So hopefully they can adjust the system and whatnot. But So, Aviane, what does the Second Amendment mean to you?
Like you said, not to take the Google definition. I mean, it is the right to bear arms, but it just gives me the right to carry my firearm and protect my family or my friends if we're ever out. Protect my home if it's ever invaded. You know, so it just gives me the right to be able to wake up and see my daughter again, be able to wake up and see my fiance again, be able to wake up, talk to my friends or something like that, you know, just the right to protect myself. Legally, right.
Right, okay. So, given y'all definitions, do you think it needs to be amended or changed in any type of way? Because, like, it's an amendment that's been there since, 1700s? And so like I feel like it's something that's outdated and does need to be updated in a certain way, because, like, guns back then are way different than guns are today.
Right. Okay.
So how do you guys think it should be amended or changed in any certain way?
I would say, I mean, it's a touchy subject, but
it's touchy.
I'll say, like, it should be changed to where if you get involved with the law in a certain type of way, that maybe you can do, like, I don't know, community service, or, you know,
like show the ARD program,
something to show that, you know, you really want to get that right back. Mm-hmm. I don't think it should just be, you know, you get in trouble and that's it. Like you literally don't have that legal right to protect yourself or your family for the rest of your life.
Or maybe also like you get in trouble with the law, have a little mishap. Let's say, okay, well, listen, we're not going to take it forever, but you got a year or 24 months to get stuff right. If you don't have any more run-ins, then
right. Basically, like a DUI. I
yeah.
think you could work. Well, you gotta. I think
Well,
it's so.
Yeah, so when I had a DUI, I was lucky to get put on ARD. So when I was done with the ARD program, it got expunged. So as long as I did X amount of things on my given list of stuff I had to do, then I was good to go. Lost my license for like 2 months or whatever. Like I got lucky out of it given my circumstances. But yeah, at least there's a program and ways that allows me to at least keep my license and drive and shit. Like it's a privilege that can be taken at any given time, but at least there's ways to keep it or get it back.
Right. Yeah, and I don't judge anybody. Like, if you did something 15, 20 years ago, I don't think that should hold you from...
Shoot, if you did something 7 years ago...
7 years ago,
that wasn't...
Everybody make mistakes.
Like that, yeah. But
everybody make mistakes. I don't think that...
As long as you learn from your mistakes is the biggest...
As long as you learn, right. Yeah, as long as you learn from your mistakes, I don't think that should be held over your head, that you can't get your gun license or carry a firearm legally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like my whole thinking with the whole Second Amendment that has issues with is the like fully automatic guns or like assault rifles and stuff like that. I think that's where the issues are coming into play because like technically you're allowed to own them and stuff like that with some exceptions, like some you can't have like rapid fire guns and big clips and stuff like that, but people still get their hands on this kind of stuff. But like the Second Amendment kind of says that they can have them, but it's not been like updated, because there was no fully automatic rifles back then as there is now.
Right.
So like, there's always these like gray areas that people just they find the loopholes and stuff like that, or like the gun shows. I feel like gun shows are the big proportionate to why illegal guns get sold, because I feel like you just go there, buy a gun, and there's like no background check. Like you can just go in there.
I mean they do background checks, but
yeah, the ones I went to at the farm show. Well, you got to do the background check.
But don't you can't undermine them because they do.
Now, yeah, I'm pretty sure
they do get them out. They do get them out. You're right about that. They do get them out. They do some little sneaky stuff and they get them out. But I mean, it's not the guns. It's the people. So it's the people with the firearms that do the illegal movement or causing the issue. So I mean. It's kind of a touchy subject, It's like, do you want to keep the assault rifles for the people who know how to use them, or do you want to take them away because people don't know how to use them,
Right.
So it's just like, it's a lot. That's it's touchy. It's definitely touchy.
Right.
That's the hope.
But that's the issue that we're in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly the political issue that we're in, is that like there's only so much gun control that you can do without like penalizing those who will never do anything wrong, because then there's like now you got to weigh like how many people do things wrong to people who don't do things wrong, and when does it cross that line where all right, now this is starting to outweigh the other, and so then it comes into fact like when do we implement harder, stricter rules, like all right, no more assault rifles, only handguns. Like so it's interesting to see that part. But how important is the Second Amendment though for us to have?
Very important.
Yeah, I would say very vital because I mean at the end of the day, I mean that's the way there's other ways, there's other means to protect yourself, but look at like you're a Redskins fan, look at Sean Taylor for his instance. Mm-hmm. Like if he would have had something in his house to protect him, he probably would still be here today. Like if he would have had a firearm legally, he could have defended himself and protected his family that day.
Right.
And it's just like I don't know. It's just
I would say there's people that go against it. So
let's just say let's take all guns away.
The
crime will drop. But, actually, it won't drop. The status is going to go up. But it's more ways to cause. It's not just guns that causes crime or problems.
Yeah, my whole thing it was like the whole taking the guns away. People who are going to do bad things with guns will always find a way to get a gun.
Always find a way.
Yeah, exactly. People who want to do bad are going to do bad. Put it like that.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I feel like. Yeah, I mean, I really can't. It's just important.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. It's just like it's one of those things. Like, have it.
Right, but honestly, thinking about like one of the historical reasons why we have this is to protect us, like, from having a government that has too much control or too much power. Like, we have the right to create a militia and have a gun and right to bear arms.
Right.
If the government is now a tyranny, a dictatorship, we could overthrow them and have the right to do so.
I wasn't going to touch on that because people already think I'm crazy with all my guns like that. But you said,
but that's the reason why.
Listen, I had people hit me. I literally had people hit me and ask, "Was we trying to form a militia?" And I'm like, "No, it's a gun club. Okay? We're not trying to like." No, we're not.
But I could see the interpretation behind that. Oh, you're creating a group of guys that like guns that are going to get together to become experts at guns. Now that they become a militia, not really, but you guys have different motives.
Yeah, that in the Second Amendment, but that's not it.
Right. So so owning a gun, how important is it for like at least one person in a family to have a gun? Like, I'm not talking about extended family. I'm talking about people who you live with. Should like one person have a gun? Should there be multiple? Like how do you think that should go?
I know.
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If you have one firearm in the house, anybody in that household is allowed to use that firearm.
But they need to know how to use it too.
You know?
But legally. But they do need to know how to use it. Like, if you got a family of 4, that it shouldn't be 2 out of 4 know how to use the firearm.
Right.
Like, what if those 2 are on vacation? Yeah, the firearm's at the house, but those 2 really know how to use it. If somebody, breaks in or tries to rob the house or try to harm them,
that's my
they can shoot themselves and hurt themselves. Anything can go wrong.
That's my thing. Because listen, I have a firearm, but my fiance also, like, she has a few firearms herself. If I'm not there, I need you to know how to protect yourself, or if I'm going my way and you're going your way, you can't just take my firearm and I'm not protected. I can't just take your firearm and you're not protected, So I think it's very important if you have someone in your household, and
I think there should be a gun in every household.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If everyone knows how to properly use it, safety of it, the maintenance of it, because it's not like you just. I know some people, like had some people reach out to me and was like, I haven't cleaned my gun in a year. Like, you think I should clean it, but I haven't used it yet? And I'm like, I mean.
Listen, I have my uncle, not to throw him under the bus, but I went down to his house a little while ago, and he has a little XD. It's a 40. And one day I'm getting his bag, and he asked me to get his keys. I'm like, all right, so I see his gun in there. I'm like, yo, last time you cleaned this thing, he said, Neff, I done had that gun for 15 years, and I never cleaned it. I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, oh no, listen,
and
that got to go to my house. I got to get it clean for you ASAP. You cannot be walking around with this gun and in this condition. Right. I took it apart. Oh man, Vic, the dust in it, and I'm like, oh man.
And that's the number one reason. Like, I know a lot of people who don't clean their guns. Like, they just think it's going to work forever. Like, it's not going to never stop working.
There's probably 2 reasons why they don't know how to do it, or they're probably scared to do it.
Or they're probably scared.
Yeah.
Right. So that just goes back to, like, literally, you gotta, like, it's not like you just go buy a pair of sneakers and throw them on.
Right.
You literally have to know what you're doing, like the safety of it, the maintenance of it, how to break it down, how to put it back together. Like, you can know how to take it apart, and let's say you forget the firing pin or you forget some type of spring to go back in there, and now you didn't think you cleaned it, and something goes to happen, and it's a malfunction because you didn't put it back together.
So put it like this: when you go get a cell phone, your first thing is like, okay, well, how do you use this? How do you do that? Oh man, well, I got to learn the camera. I got to learn. You spend so much time on that phone to try to figure out your phone, figure out the use of it. Put that much use, put that time and dedication to your firearm, and you'll be good. You know, okay, well, how to break it down? Okay, well, what if something happens? Like, what if I'm shooting and a round gets stuck? Like, okay, well, now I know how to take the gun apart, get that round out, or something like that. You know, how to eject the bullet and things like that. Or what if I'm shooting and my slide's just like it don't feel right. It feels a little funny. Okay, well I don't got no oil in there. I got to do that. So if people spend their time educating themselves rather than being on their phone all day, they'll be better off.
Right. So I got one more question before we move to the last segment here is what is the correct process of owning a gun? Like, what are the usual steps that you should go through purchasing a gun and doing all the right things?
When you first purchase a gun, obviously, well, if you're a big online person, let's say you see a gun online that you like, you would have to get it shipped to a FFL dealer.
Let's start with the important stuff. Let's start first.
Well, I mean,
you
gotta get
your license. Get your license.
Well, yeah, you gotta get. You didn't have to have your license to buy.
Well, or just check. Some people think, okay, I have to go get a gun, and they have something.
And that's another thing though, because I have some people that come up to me like, I'll get my gun license next year. Can you take me to buy a gun? I'm like, I should go buy a gun now.
Yeah.
You don't. In PA, you do not have to have your concealed carry permit is just to conceal the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
PA is carry state.
You only keep it in your home. If you don't have your license, you got to keep it in your home. And if you're traveling, like, or taking somewhere,
well, you can carry it. PA is open carry state.
Yeah, I mean, but
who will want that attention?
When you get in a car, though.
Well, yeah, when you get in the
people
car,
don't know that you got to break it down.
Yeah, that's concealed.
Right, you got to put the bullets in the trunk and the gun up front or whatever.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
So but also I would say just because I know people who have tried to go get a firearm and while they were at the store, the cops are showing up now. So you just got to basically know, okay, well I did this before, so I got to just check. Let me go through the right steps to check and see if I'm able to get a firearm. Yeah. Or if you never did anything, okay, well, boom. What Mook said.
I would say, well, first of all, get your license. If you're able to get your license, if you're at the right age, I would say go get your gun license first. Go to the range and shoot a couple guns because you don't want to just go buy a gun. I had females text me and say, "Yeah, is this a good gun?" And she sent me a 45.
That too.
And at the end of the day, and that's another thing that we're here too. We're here for discussions like that too, because at the end of the day, not all gun ranges do. I mean, not all gun stores do this, but most gun stores is just a gun sale.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to get that sale for that day. That they're not. It's not their job to teach that person that's coming in the knowledge of.
Right.
Hey, is this firearm? Some people do go. Some stores do go that extra mile to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it just goes back again to like you need to go to the range, shoot a couple guns. Pay that extra money to try out, test a couple out because you want your firearm to feel like butter. Like you want it to feel like, man, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. Not I just like this, like Glocks for instance. Right. I'm not. He's a Glock guy. I'm not a Glock guy. But a lot of people buy Glocks because of the name.
Right.
I got a Glizzy.
It sounds like a just shoe thing too.
Right. Yeah, like a shoe thing. Right. So, somebody can have like, I'm going to go get a Glock. It don't shoot right to them, but they just like happy that they got a Glock.
Right.
So it just goes back to that thing. You got to get something that you're comfortable with and that you know that you can defend yourself with 100%, like with no problem. Right. And I would say after you purchase the firearm, I would say take a couple classes. People spend money on anything nowadays. Like cut out eating out for a couple of days and get some extra training done.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So, any last thoughts on the importance of the Second Amendment or owning a gun before moving on to the last segment here?
I would say owning a gun. Another important thing, which he kind of touched on, is if like you have kids. Not even if you have kids, like if you have nieces, nephews, you have your friends, kids or whatever coming over. A lot of things that I've been seeing on the internet, like I just seen a TikTok where they was doing a video and the gun was sitting on the couch and the kid when he picked it up.
Right.
So it's like you got to know like another important that's just another important thing of owning a gun. You got to know how to properly store it too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like as soon as my son was born, even though he can't even crawl yet, I went and bought a safe just so I can put guns in a safe and store them properly for when other people come over too.
Right.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, so like having our right to own a gun is extremely important, but we need to know how to handle a gun as well, which is what we're about to talk about now is like gun safety and maintenance and stuff like that. So we're gonna start off with like safety first. Like how should you handle a gun? Like what is the properly way of handling a gun?
Handle a gun with caution. Just be cautious, be mindful. Definitely, when you purchase your firearm, I know a lot of people who carry without a holster. I would recommend not doing that because it's easy to. A lot of people do that. Yeah, it's easy. Like I wear sweatpants a lot, or even jeans. Like you're going to go put your gun away, and maybe a string. A string gets caught to your finger and in between the gun and the trigger pulls. So you want to have more. Be mindful of what you're doing. Like don't carry a gun without a holster. I would say that's a big thing, a very big thing.
Treat every gun as it's loaded. Yeah. Like there's times I go to the range and I know that I carry one in the chamber, and I cleared it before I went to the range. But in the back of my mind, it's just muscle memory. Like I know to clear it. Like it's just clear it again. Make sure nothing's in the chamber. I think a lot of people that, I mean, not a lot of people, but I know a couple people who, had some instances or whatever where they thought one wasn't in the chamber and they actually like fired it. Like, because once the clip is in there and you take the clip out, that one is still in the chamber till you clear it. Mm-hmm. Like, you take the clip out, it's just a clip. You still got to clear the chamber.
Right. So, some people might not know that, and
right,
it leads to an accident.
So one thing I definitely do when I drop my mag, after I rack my gun, the bullet comes out. Now it's nothing in there, but I'm like, okay, let me rack it 2 or 3 more times just to double check. I'm looking in the barrel, just inspecting the barrel, knowing that I watched that bullet eject. But I'm like, nah, I gotta just check. I gotta make sure, just in case, because accidents happen. Maybe that bullet ejected, but somehow, in some mysterious way, the bullet guides to another round back in there. You just want to be safe.
You got a max ammo playing zombies automatically reloaded your clip for you.
Yeah, right. Like, oh man.
Another thing I would say is definitely pointing the gun in a safe direction.
Oh yeah, that's a
I don't care if it's empty and I know it's empty. Like
that's a big
always point. Like if you're at a range, always point it down range.
That is.
If you're at home, always point it away from you or anybody else. Like even if you know it's empty, like still point the gun. Always point the gun in a safe direction. Like I be seeing videos of people pointing it at each other or pointing it at tripping. Like it's just like even we know it's empty, but it's just like that's just not safe. Like it's not smart and it's not safe.
Something that's funny though that I've noticed, like me and Mook, we're all because I think we're always we're always handling the firearms. Like we're always like, yo, bro, look at this or look at this, check this out. Even when we're passing the fire, we're looking at each other like, bro. Like,
even though we know we say
but we're like, yo, okay, watch my toes. Watch my toes. Like, yeah. So definitely, you definitely want to be safe. Even if the gun's racked and there's no magazine in there, you don't want to just say, okay, well, look at this gun. You definitely don't want to have it just pointing at yourself, others. And even if you're at home, you don't want to have it pointing in the direction of the room that somebody else is in,
Right.
Just to be safe. It's empty, but just to be safe,
Right. I think it comes down to treating it with respect, like you guys were saying. Like you just circle back to that, like every single time. Like just treat it with respect and be responsible with it at all times. Like there's never a dull moment if there's a gun around. Like you gotta be on your toes with it.
Right.
But is there anything is there anything you should look for, like when you see a gun, or be aware of, or anything like that?
When you see a gun, can you touch on that a little more?
Yeah, so say you're going to the range, or you see somebody fumbling with a gun or something like that. Like, should they be aware? Like, should a safety on or off, stuff like that? Like any of that kind of things that people should be aware of.
Well,
definitely the safety part. Yeah, because me personally, I don't have none of my guns have safety. I always buy a gun without a safety. Because it's not a bad thing, and it depends on the person.
Right.
Because you can have let's say when you're in a situation, let's take it there. When you're in a situation and you have a safety, you have so much adrenaline rush that what if you forget to take that safety off?
Right.
Like you pull the firearm and go to shoot, but that safety is still on. So I think that's another big thing of, people take for granted, like for what's a gun ban with safety. I mean, that has a safety on it. But even if you had a safety off, I mean, and you go to shoot it, it's just one of those things that you have to practice and get the muscle memory to know what you're doing when you have it on or off.
Right, yeah, because it seems like it has like a pros and cons for having a safety on a gun.
Yeah, it's pros and cons. Yeah, it's pros and cons.
But like to touch on what you said about being at the range, you see somebody fumbling with a gun, I would definitely just say, instead of going over, like I would never tell somebody, like if we're at the range, I would never say, oh, move, we got to go take that gun out their hand. Like, no, like, listen, like lay the gun down, and if you don't know what you're doing, we'll show you, or we can go get an instructor. But, just definitely know your limits. So never try to run up on someone who has a firearm and try to help right away. Just, hey, listen, can you put the gun down, face it down range? Yeah. We'll show you, okay, well, listen, the safety's on. That's why the bullet's not coming out, or you don't have the bullets put in the correct way. I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody put the bullets in backwards. And I'm like, or put the bullet in backwards. Like, hey, you have no bullets in this magazine because you're putting it in like this. You're trying to force it down, so you have those people that go to the range for the first time by themselves, and you're just like, oh man, like
I had to teach two girls this the one day. They was like, no, this is our first time here, and I went over and showed them, focus on your front sight or whatever.
All right.
But I think like when you're at the range, the biggest thing to focus on, like you have to watch out for others. Basically, like you're driving, you could be the most top-rated driver in the world, but you got to watch out for other people. It's other people that gets into accidents.
Accidents happen.
So when you're at the range, you just got to be mindful of that too. Like, yeah, you know how to shoot. You're an expert. I mean, you think you're an expert or you're advanced, but you got to also watch out for people around you too. Right. Because it might be like you might have a first person that ever shot a gun on your left side, and same thing on your right side. So it's just like you never know.
Like you see people, like I've seen a couple times, people are holding their gun like this, looking at the gun. I saw somebody looking in the barrel. Honestly, God, like. Oh no!
My do?
Like, my lady's like, I don't feel safe. I want to go. I was like, hey, I don't blame you. Like we can head out, but like it's
a good thing. I ain't mean to cut
no,
you.
You're good.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing to own a gun. Like a lot of people think like it's a fun thing to do. Like when I first got my gun, I was just like, it was a lot of stuff I didn't know. Like, I mean, a lot of stuff I didn't know, and I'm glad I never got into any situation. But like, I gained the knowledge. I Google stuff, watch YouTube videos, talk to people. But it's just
excessive on the YouTube videos, I would say. No,
probably got a whole playlist.
Listen, yesterday we were having our meeting, and he's like, "Listen, don't judge me," and it was like, how to shoot this? Oh, this dope girl shotgun. Oh, snap! This is a Hellcat. Oh, six up. I'm like, all right.
You never can have enough knowledge when it comes to guns
at all.
Yeah.
Like you can never know too much. Like I learn something new every day. Like, and it just goes back to like respecting the gun, man. You really have to respect the gun. It's not just that you can get and just use it. It's not. It just don't work like that. Like a lot of people go to the range and just try to do it for fun, but like, yeah, you're having fun, but you also got to think about the safety aspect too.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of people just go to the range to shoot for fun, and it's like, all right, that's good, it's something you're doing for fun, but do you know the safety aspect?
Right.
Like, do you know what to do if your gun was to jam in a range? Like, some people don't know what to do when their gun jams.
And keep trying to pull the trigger. And I'm like, oh no. Yeah, just keep trying to pull the trigger after the gun jam. I'm like, oh man, but like we said, it's basically gaining the knowledge. You have to, when you buy that firearm, listen, make sure there's no bullets in there. I don't care if you bought the firearm, you didn't buy any bullets. Just double check it. Sit down, watch YouTube videos on that gun. I don't care if it's 15 videos. It's different people showing you things. It's never the same person teaching you the same thing about the firearm. Each video is going to be different. I don't care if it's just showing you how to remove the safety off the gun or something like. You have to learn your gun. You have to learn your gun.
Right.
That's like motorcycle riders. They you have to learn your motorcycle. You know,
Yeah.
learn, take the time, watch the videos, learn your gun.
And never buy a gun out of fear. I think that's like one of the biggest things around here. Like when the pandemic hit, like everybody was out.
Yeah, they thought it was the apocalypse or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's like
Guns and toilet paper.
70
Guns and
70
toilet paper.
Because people probably never shot a gun, and they just bought the firearm just to have it. But it's like, okay, yeah, you wanted to protect yourself, but like again, you just gotta know how to properly do that in that way.
Right. So let's move on to
I don't
some.
want.
No, go ahead.
I don't want anyone to feel like, like, oh, I can't come to Muku Horatio for a question. Like, I don't want anyone to feel like that. Like,
Right.
if you have a question, please come to us.
Right.
If we don't know the answer, we can get you a professional answer.
Yes.
Cool.
I second that, 100%.
Well, that's good to hear for sure, because I'll definitely be coming to y'all for some more gun knowledge, because I still don't really know shit, to be honest with you. But
we will definitely get you.
of course, definitely got to link up for go to the range or something. But let's get into the maintaining a gun and stuff like that. Maintenance. How do you properly like maintain a gun, like, and clean it?
So maintaining a firearm, I would say, basically, are you talking about like the just maintaining it in a safe way and everything like that?
Or, like cleaning it too, like making sure it's in good condition, like it's like operating really well. It's not gonna fucking blow up in your hand.
Right.
Just as we were talking about before, previously, watch the YouTube videos on it, like watch it, see, or also just depending upon your gun. Like, I know my 1911, and it's the 1911 guy right here. But my 1911 holds its oil longer than my Glock.
Polymer guns.
Yeah, like my polymer guns. Like it holds my oil longer. So I know I don't have to clean my 1911 as often as I clean my Glocks or my Tauruses or my FNs or something like that. My Springfields. I know I don't have to clean my 1911 as often as those. Because it's really no. And in my Glock, for instance, on the side, it's pretty much open to. You can see the oil, so the oil is easier it's easier to lose oil. Why is it? As in my 1911, that's enclosed, so my oil is just it's holding. It's nothing. It's not too much air seeping in, not too much dust getting into it.
Yeah.
So
I would say, like, to properly maintain it and to properly clean, I would say after every session, after every fire, like as soon as you fire it, after you're done firing it, I would say take it apart and clean it. What you don't want to do is, with your handguns, you don't want to oil it up too much. You don't want to just spray every piece and get everything all oily, because then it doesn't work.
Definitely light.
The important thing is cleaning the barrel. You want to get all that stuff out the barrel, run a snake through it, run some oil down in it, clean it. And then after you put it back together, let's say you don't go to the range for 3-4 months, you got busy. You still want to periodically, I do it weekly. I weekly, like on a weekend, I take my gun apart, get the lint and whatever stuff's in it, oil it back up just a little bit, and then put it back together. So I would say definitely after a range, clean your guns. After every.
Yeah, and
then periodically, if you don't go back to the range, just check it, take it back apart, and because at the end of the day, it's your life.
Right.
If it jams or something, that that you want to make sure that it's properly clean and maintenance, so that it can protect you or someone else.
Yeah, my everyday carry firearm. At least once every 2 weeks, I take it apart. I look at it because I'm carrying it in my pants, lint.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Like when you carry it in certain places,
it's
oil attracts this.
Yes,
right.
Yes. Yeah. And it builds. Like you don't want to take any risk when we're not checking it. And depending, like I said, depending upon the holster, like getting to know your holster, that's definitely big. But if I don't carry my firearm, I have some in my safe that have never seen the light of day. It's horrible, but every month I dedicate myself to go into my safe. It's crazy because I hit Mook. He's like, I'm doing inventory, or I'm sitting here, I'm cleaning. I'm saying
that's a bad thing to say.
I'm sitting here, I'm cleaning my guns, and I'm like, well, damn, ain't that funny? I flip my camera, and he's like, oh man, this is bad. We got to stop. But every month, I dedicate time to my safe and take all my guns out, break them all down, make sure they're all oiled up and everything like that. Put them back together, hang them, make sure they're cool. I clean them a little bit just to make sure they're fine. And if my everyday carry is somewhat like I don't want to carry that no more, I could just pull one out the safe, because they're always ready. So just basically monthly, just a monthly routine. If you don't carry it, and if you do carry it, just every 2 weeks, just double check.
Right. Have you guys thought about like making like a YouTube page or something like that to like showcase different like ways of cleaning and handling guns and stuff like that?
Did we think about that?
Yeah, you told us that for the Instagram.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that, but we was talking about. Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. YouTube would probably be better because we probably could reach more people that way.
Mm-hmm. And it's easier like to have those videos saved. Like people can like save your videos to playlist or however they want to save them and stuff like that. Watch it later. And it's easier, and then people can rewind, move forward, stuff like that. So I think it'd be pretty cool to like have a series of like different things of maintaining a gun or gun safety and stuff like that.
I'm not
just some recommendation.
I'm about to add that. Okay.
I can get used to that. I can get used to that. Move quick here. Today we have that sticks. I like that.
Yeah. Just an idea. But yeah, man. You guys have any other last thoughts or advice for gun safety and maintenance before we close out the episode?
Just always be cautious about what you're doing with your firearm. Just be ready. Just always check your gun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times. Just always be mindful that you are carrying a firearm. A firearm is dangerous. If I have it, he has it, or someone else has it. You just always have to be mindful of that firearm and just check. Just check. Make sure your firearm is ready to go when you need it, but also make sure it's not in any way going to hurt you if you're about to take it apart, or if you're about to put it away for the night, something like that. Just always check it. Make sure you always treat the gun as if it's loaded.
And I would say another thing is definitely pay attention to your surroundings. Like when you're out and about, wherever I go, I got my gun. If I'm just going to Walmart, I have my gun. Especially with today's world and all the stuff, all the shootings and stuff going on. So like, if you have a gun and take it. I mean, better safe than sorry.
Right.
But with that, you also got to know where you can't take it. A lot of people think that you can't take it in banks. You can take it in banks. You just can't take it in federal banks. Playgrounds, school zones, you can't have it in those places. If you're traveling out of state, you need to know what states. I have someone that just reached out to me, and they actually got caught up in New Jersey, and they got caught with their firearm, and everything went down the way it. But again, we're going to be posting some of that on our Instagram too. Because I'm protected by USCCA, so basically it's like an insurance. You have an attorney and all that, and it teaches you a lot. Like it has a reciprocatory map, and it lets you know where you can and where you can't go.
Oh, okay. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, actually, I posted the map on our Instagram page.
Right.
So if anybody's ever traveling out of state, you can actually look at that map and see where you can and where you can't take your gun. Because a lot of people think that. I mean, obviously, some people know you can't take it out of state, but some people think that they can take it certain places, and you really can't.
Right. You're right, because I was in the news too with that one young kid that crossed state lines to go shoot those people, and then he was like, "Oh, he's a hero," but no, he was a terrorist. Like, that's another story for another day. But the moral of that is he crossed state lines, and everyone knew that he couldn't cross that specific state line with that type of gun either.
Right. So I think that's another important thing. Being aware of your surroundings and where to know where you can take your firearm and where you can't. Because if you get caught somewhere with it and you can't have it, then now you got to deal with the legal aspect of that.
Right.
That's a headache alone.
Right.
But yeah, man, what a conversation we just had. It's been about 53 minutes here, but it is time to wrap some stuff up here. Personally, want to take the time out to thank both of y'all for coming on to my show here, being on the 14th show, but definitely thank you guys for coming on the show.
Definitely appreciate you too for the time.
Yep.
Of course. And want to thank everybody who did check us out live today, and everybody who does check us out later on YouTube. Definitely want to give a big shout out to our Press Start Podcast. We just had our episode yesterday, so be on the lookout for more episodes from that show as well. But Aviane, where can we find you at, social media wise?
You can find me at the Next Level Gun Club page, NLGC 717. Also Aviane _Chase.
Okay. And what about you, Mook?
Same for the Next Level Gun Club. As far as my personal Instagram, I gotta go look. That's how old I am. It's _Mook93.
There you go. And you can check
and
me
I'm
out
on Facebook. It's Joe Brown.
There you go. You can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _, Xbox at xNever space chillin if you want to game, party up, whatever. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. You have questions, concerns, want to come on the show, any of my shows, just hit me up. My Twitch is twitch.tv / Mr. Never Chillin. That's where I stream my games, but I have been streaming a lot here on this channel to get this channel up and coming. But definitely want to thank everyone again, but until next time, peace.